Hello, hello, hello. I am Robin. This is Nest of Guidance, and I have a feeling that your spirit guides and the universe has a message for you from this deck, because when I filmed my Pisces new moon reading, go check it out if you haven't already, as I was putting the astrology oracle card boxes back on the shelf where they go, this box was next to them and I could feel energy emanating from this oracle deck, which is messages from your guides. So I am 100% certain that there is a message for you if you're watching this, if you felt called to this, in this messages deck from your spirit guides, from even someone who maybe has passed on that you loved or held dear in your heart, from the universe, from God or Goddess, from Spirit Divine, and I feel like it's right here. Ooh, interesting. I think I'll pull two actually. So, because right now we have this energy of taking responsibility for your actions. So, we just entered Aries season as I'm filming this, and this is all about taking charge. So your guide wants you to, your guides, God, Goddess, the universe wants you to know that it is time to take responsibility for your actions. As I'm holding this card up, it is coming through also as taking responsibility for your inspired actions, for your life. So this isn't necessarily calling you out on anything, although it might come through that way for some of us. I don't know. You'll know yourself if this feels kind of sticky or a little bit triggering for you. I'm sorry. This is the message that wanted to come through for you, is to take responsibility. And taking responsibility doesn't have this big, heavy energy to it. It's really your ability to respond with your actions as opposed to react, right? To reiterate actions back, to mirror them back in uniform, I'm hearing. So if someone is rude or upsetting to you, you be rude and upsetting to them. That is a reaction. But if you take responsibility for your actions, you pause and then you shift the energy by choosing to be kind or loving or seeing potentially why they're acting in that way towards you. But it is time for us to take responsibility for our actions, especially as we are entering into the spring, into Aries, into this new year. Things are going to start moving very fast and blooming very fully, I'm hearing. So this is a beautiful time to take responsibility for our actions in our life right now. And with that, one way we can take responsibility for our actions is to be of service. So how can you help? How can you share your energy of love, of kindness, of gratitude? How can you share healing? How can you uplift the planet right now? Even if it's just reaching out to a friend you haven't heard from in a while, even if it's this energy of like holding the door open for someone. These are all ways that you can take responsibility for your actions and be of service at the same time. Again, taking responsibility doesn't necessarily mean that it's like it's time to pay the consequences for what you've done in the past, but you can be responsible for how you act and to live by being of service to yourself and others. I'm hearing like be of service to your highest self in these energies that are becoming very passionate, very empowered, very fiery, very fast in this season that we're in right now energetically. So let's see what else comes forward, because there's more to this than meets the eye, says Spirit, with taking responsibility. So, hope. When you take responsibility for your actions, it brings through hope for you. And you are empowered through this energy. You see how there's this like being of light within these hands? So this is like the seed, the star of hope. 444 as I said that. So know that you are safe and supported in the energy of hope as you take responsibility for your actions and be of service in your community, for yourself, and for the others in your life. This is traditionally the star card in original OG tarot, and hope is all about standing up again. So if I'm getting this message, this might be coming through for some of us, where it's like we're kind of maybe down on ourselves and feeling lesser than, or feeling not enough from actions that maybe we took in the past, for what our circumstances were at that time. But Spirit is coming through to let you know that you're a different person now, and so you will take different actions now, and to love on that version of you, and to stand up and renew your hope for the future through taking actions for your life and being able to respond with your actions, your words, your energy, your thoughts in a way that will renew you and give you that beautiful illumination. And it's in hand, just like this beautiful star and sun of hope is in hand. When you take responsibility for your actions, that energy is also in hand for you as well. Because you're the one who's taking responsibility for it. You're the one who's choosing to act as opposed to react. And so this might do with upcoming events as well, because we did have this card come through of obstacles and challenges. And this might feel like, can I take this jump? Maybe you're being asked to take a leap of faith in these energies of taking responsibility for your actions, to bridge the gap with your own actions, I'm hearing. But look at this, like when you take responsibility for your actions and you take that leap, trust, I'm hearing trust that your feet will get you there. We have hands and feet in this so far, so it's like, it's a full body motion. It's full body responsibility. And being responsible for yourself, again, is this energy of trusting that you have what it takes. See how this has this illumination and all these beads of light? You can make the jump. You can make the jump. You can take the responsibility and move forward from who you are and where you are now, as opposed to maybe what came forward from your past self. And I'm also hearing this word coming through of integration. So if you feel like you're integrating energies right now, then you are definitely taking responsibility, because new beginnings is coming forward for you. So when you take responsibility for your actions and you be of service through that energy, to yourself, to your community, to the planet, to nature, to your loved ones, then it restores your hope. You get to bridge the gap of the obstacles that you're facing, right? And then it leads you to the new beginnings. Because when you move forward on taking responsibility and being of service, then that's what brings through the hope for the new beginnings. Because if you're just reacting to everything around you, or reacting to what you're feeling inside of you, then you'll just backpedal through that reaction. You're like, oh, I cannot make that jump. So your reaction is to back up. But if you have the hope of the new beginning that's on the other side of these obstacles and challenges that you might be facing right now, then you will back up intentionally in service to yourself to take the leap, because you have the hope that you can bridge the gap yourself. You don't need anyone to build the bridge for you. You are the bridge. That's how you take responsibility for yourself, for your actions. That's how you be the service to yourself and your community. Is you are the bridge that clears the gap. I'm hearing you are the bridge that mends the circumstances. When you move forward with intention for a new future and for new beginnings. And again, it's like You might feel like as you cross these barriers, you're like, oh, that's just a long way down. But it's like, you're not stepping out into nothing. You're literally leaping into new beginnings, into like a world of potential. You might feel like you're walking off the edge, but you're really walking through into a whole new world, into beautiful new energy, because you chose to take that leap, because you chose to like back up to spring forward as opposed to back up in fear, because you chose to be of service to yourself and lean in to the challenge and the obstacles as opposed to react to them from an old mindset. So let's see what else comes forward here in this energy of taking responsibility for your actions, trusting that you are the bridge that will mend the gap, that there's new beginnings on the other side when you are of service to yourself and others and the planet and your community. Yes, 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 yes. So, the Chariot. When you take responsibility for your actions, so Spirit, things that felt polarized become harmonized, and you move forward towards victory, success, and achievement, towards the new beginnings, towards the hope. Because you see that when you take responsibility for your body, for your mind, for your heart, for your spirit, for your energy, that's what builds the bridge of the new beginnings, and you race forward towards it exponentially. And then justice as well. So you balance the scales. You tune in, you reflect on the challenges that you might be facing, because this energy of her up here and then her down here is actually just her self-reflecting on these potential challenges or imbalances that you might be facing right now, to balance the scales and know that when you are impartial and objective and take responsibility for your actions facing these challenges, that is what brings in the new beginnings. Because this energy right here is what you're working with. You're crossing the gap because you are the bridge. Right? You are the bridge. And so when you choose to become the bridge with hope, you race forward into new potential. You race forward into new potential. Right? You balance the scales. You rewrite the karmic history because you chose to be impartial as you take responsibility and you be of service, so that hope can be renewed for yourself, so that you will have the new beginnings that are waiting for you. Because this energy is, like I say, with this objective and partial energy, which is what judgment is interesting. So renewal, that is more renewal energy. That is more rebirth energy coming through. That is this energy here. This is the combination of what happens when you tune into being impartial and rewriting your karmic history through taking responsibility for your actions. And it's this energy of, if you were a stranger looking in at your circumstances, if you were a stranger who was observing the obstacles and challenges that you might be facing right now, how would a stranger be objective within these energies? What type of advice or guidance? How would a stranger be of service when it comes to being impartial and objective and balancing the scales of the obstacles and challenges you might be facing right now? That is what Spirit is asking us. And then when you do that, because you're not taking it personally and reacting, you're being grounded in your energy and your spirit. You're taking responsibility for your whole embodiment, body, mind, heart, spirit, the full package. That's what brings in the bright illuminated hope and the new beginnings for you that again you are charging quickly towards, because you have taken responsibility for your actions, taken responsibility for how you perceive the obstacles and challenges that you're being faced with right now. Let's see some final thoughts from Spirit here, because I feel like that is not the full message. Yeah, okay. So, Page of Cups. When you take responsibility for your actions, as opposed to reacting, you choose to respond, then you are gifted miraculous opportunities, new beginnings. You shift timelines, right? You shift timelines. Justice and the Page of Cups is a shift in timelines. His feet are above his head, up, and away, because he's literally shifted into a new dimension of time and space for himself, because you chose to take responsibility and be of service. I'm hearing like be of service to the situation as well with these energies, with whatever you're facing. Be of service to the obstacles that you're facing right now, because you chose to take responsibility for your actions and your body and how to move forward through them, right? Where's that Chariot card? How to move forward through them, because you chose to take responsibility for your actions through these challenges that you might be facing right now. That is gifting you like a synchronistic new opportunity, right? Hope, new beginnings, and the Page of Cups. Again, Justice and the Page of Cups is a shift in timelines, because this is a karmic shift. And when you shift your karma, you shift timelines, you shift realities into synchronicity and blessings, into inspiration and hope, into unexpected trajectories, up and away, that you couldn't experience before if you hadn't have chosen to take responsibility. But because you chose to take responsibility for your actions, you've bridged the gap, because you became the bridge, as opposed to waiting, as opposed to retreating. You bridged the gap by taking responsibility for your actions, and now you have this beautiful, look at this, seed of new opportunity and connections coming through for you. A new hope arising for you, because you chose to take responsibility for your actions. Because you chose to take responsibility for your actions, you're being gifted new beginnings, and a whole new reality, and a whole new timeline, and a whole new frame of reference, and a whole new dimension. You're stepping out into a world that you created by taking responsibility for your actions, by choosing to be aware, by choosing to respond as opposed to react. You've opened that door for yourself. You've opened that door of hope for yourself by choosing to take responsibility for your actions. And again, this doesn't even feel like, again, this isn't Spirit like being like you've been bad. This is Spirit saying, I know that you have challenges and obstacles that you're dealing with right now. I know that you have challenges and obstacles that you're dealing with. I know that you're nervous about crossing that bridge, but look at all the magic that is supporting you on this journey. Look at all the magic that is supporting you on this journey. Look at all the magic that is supporting you on this journey. And it all happened because, again, you chose to take responsibility for yourself. So, and you're like, it's coming through as like this, like, enough is enough. You know where you want to go. You know new beginnings are right around the corner. You know that you're already racing towards this new potential, right? You already know this. That you're racing towards new potential. You're racing towards a whole new planet, I'm hearing. You're racing towards hope. You already know that you're racing towards hope and a new potential. So this is why. Because you took responsibility. So honor that. As you honor yourself, as you honor your energy, as you honor your actions, as you continually take the time and the awareness to respond to what comes up for you, know that I just heard God is on your side. The universe is on your side. And the universe is coming through and saying that the universe is here to be of service for you as well. The universe is here to be of service for you because you took responsibility. So this is like you took responsibility for yourself, your body, your spirit, your energy, your actions, your words, and the universe is meeting you there. The universe is like, we will be of service for you, your guides, those that have passed on that you feel close to still, feel their energy lingering around you. They're like, we will be of service for you because you serviced yourself by taking responsibility for yourself. And that is why you have hope in hand. That is why you can face the challenges and obstacles that are around the corner or that you might feel like you are. This is why you can trust that these new beginnings are for you. Again, because you took the responsibility. You took the responsibility and you chose to respond as opposed to react. And that's leading you to new beginnings. That's leading you to new hope. That's leading you to unexpected trajectories of magic and synchronicity, new connections that feel like they've been in your lifetime and your aura forever. So be proud of yourself because it takes a very true and kind and authentic and aware and courageous soul to choose to respond as opposed to react. And that is the message that Spirit and your spirit guides and the universe has for you today. Give this reading a like if it resonated for you. Subscribe if you'd like to become a birdie in the nest of guidance. And I will see you in my next reading. Namaste.